Welcome to this week's episode of Real Talk. We are in Boston and it is actually super sunny outside, so we're gonna have the screens down for this episode so that you can see what's going on. But we will be bringing in our special guest all the way from Rome. Betta is from the class of 2015 and spent her year in Nebraska. Her exchange story has not stopped moving in the last 3 years as she's lived all over the place, learned new languages, and is really embracing all of her exchange. You don't want to miss today's episode as we find out about a very unique start to an exchange that's quite different than what we've heard before. We'll be right back with Betta. Welcome back to Real Talk. We're live from Boston and we're talking to Betta from Rome. Welcome to Real Talk, Betta.
Hi, thank you. Glad to be here.
We're super happy to have you here, and what's great is that you're coming from the Rome office, actually. So where are you? Like, how did you get to this room?
Well, so I had to kind of like crawl to this room because it's very high. Where the Rome office is actually a very old building. So we don't have that much space, but the space we have is amazing. There's like frescoes on the walls, so it's very awesome. If you ever are in Rome, please come and like see the office because it's amazing.
That's awesome. And you're afraid of heights, so we appreciate you making the climb to talk to us today. But I think what's really great, so Betta is the class of 2015 and went from Italy to Nebraska and is still very much involved, which is why she's in the office. But what sort of got into you that you're like, I'm gonna move all the way to the US and live on the farms of Nebraska?
Well, I have to like be honest and say that this was really something that my parents found out that I could do this. I wasn't very good at, I love languages, but I always loved ancient languages. In Italy, we studied like in high school, we studied Greek and Latin, and I was super into this. I loved it. It was amazing. Then my parents found out that I could do the exchange year with EF. And so I was kind of skeptical and went into the office, do the info meeting. And I kind of fell in love with the whole idea, basically. And I just let E-Office like guide me through it. It was kind of like a dream. I don't remember much of it, it's insane. And then I ended up one day finding out that I was going to Nebraska. I remember I was doing something on my balcony and I don't know what I was doing. I was out like looking at the sunset or something and I received the email. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to West Point, NE, Nevada, super cool. I was so excited. And then I Googled it and I couldn't find West Point, Nevada. So I found West Point, Nebraska. I was like, oh, Nebraska has got to be a county of Nevada. Like, cool. But yeah, that was not the case. So apparently I found out that there was this state called Nebraska. And the pictures I saw were like a snow blizzard, a cornfield, and lots of cows. That's what Google showed me. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting. So I was a bit freaked like at the moment, but then when I got there, it was amazing from like day one.
So you find out that you're going to Nebraska, and I will tell you, Google is really bad at giving a good image to Nebraska, just like you said, cornfield, snow, cows. But you get there, and tell us about what was it like landing? Did you land in Omaha?
I landed in Omaha, so the airport is very small.
Yeah.
And I remember, this is so like ridiculous. We laughed about this with my host family for probably like the rest of the year, but I was insanely worried about who was gonna take my bag because I had this very huge like suitcase, and I was like, when you get into that, not panic mode, but when you're like kind of freaking out and you're like, okay, so am I gonna take the bag? Are they going to take the bag? Like, what's gonna happen? It was, yeah, we laughed about this for the remaining of the year. It was so fun. But my IC was there, and she's always been there for me throughout the whole, year. And yeah, we had an amazing relationship. And my whole family was there with like big balloons and, like a huge sign. And I was like, oh, it's probably them,
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was awesome. So my host family was made of, I had a host dad, host mom, and then I had two amazing host sisters that were just a bit younger than me. So we were all in the same school, which was awesome. And it was very nice. They specifically chose a girl because then, you know, we could all be like girls, and the hostess has always been the only male in our family. So, but we were always very nice to them, so it's okay.
That's good. And were you their first exchange student, or had they hosted before?
So I was their first exchange student, which I now know that I was not even supposed to be their student, because a friend, like a very close friends of them, like a family, they wanted to host me, but then they realized that they were living like very out in the country. So it was like 20 minutes from like the town. And so they were worried that I was not gonna have like stuff to do, or, you know, they kind of freaked out a bit. And so they told their amazing friends that, you know, this girl would be awesome for you because, you know, she sings and she plays guitar, and like both my older sisters do that. And, you know, she likes to travel, and they also like to travel. And yeah, and so like they literally like passed me like on to them. And yeah, that's how it happened.
Wonderful. And are you still in touch with them? I bet your sisters, you know, they're in college and doing things too. Do you still talk to your family?
Yes, I talk to my family like a lot, and we send packages from, like, I always send a huge package because my grandparents are like forever thankful for, you know, to my grandparents, this kind of experience has always, like, they were a bit like worried, you know, they're so old and like, I don't know. So they were like very, very worried. And so my grandparents are so thankful. And how do you think that an Italian grandma will like show how thankful she is?
Food.
Yeah, obviously food, right? So she, like, they literally sent a huge package to the States every Christmas with all like Italian goodies, and I'm not kidding, this package is about 10 kilos.
Oh my God.
Big and heavy, and yeah, we sent one for Christmas and we sent one for Easter. And they always send me back like peanut butter because I fell in love with peanut butter that we, like, it's not like we don't have it, we do have it, but like it's very expensive for a jar like this, like it's very, very expensive. So they always send me like huge jars of peanut butter, which is amazing.
That is amazing. I love peanut butter too, and I brought it with me to Italy, and everyone hated it because they said it was too sweet because...
Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, what are you guys talking about? This is good.
Exactly. It's worth the international shipping on things like that. Just
it
like, send them some goodies, they send you peanut butter, it's a fair deal.
Yes.
So, you know, going back again to your exchange. I love that you still talk to your family, and hopefully you get to go back to see them sometime soon in Nebraska. But what was it like when you walked into this classic Americana high school? Like, what did your high school look like? Okay, so I was kind of an exception because my high school was very, very small. In total, I'm gonna say we were about not even 500 students. Wow.
School it was probably like one of the best parts of the year because I was so involved with like everything, and I got a chance to try so many different things because there are so many subjects that we don't study like here, like a lot of practical stuff. Like I took personal finance, I took art, and we actually made art, whereas here in Italy we have art history, so we study on books like the amazing things we have in Rome, but we don't actually make art. So like it's a completely different approach to school and learning, which I found like refreshing, and I really fell in love with it, and that's why I decided to keep on studying at an American university, because the way of learning like really, really works like for me. So that was very, very good. Every time we talk about our exchanges, we see them through sort of this like beautiful light because it's been years, but can you remember one of the things that maybe you had the hardest time adjusting to? Because Nebraska is quite different than Rome. Yeah, I think part of the things, like one of the things I remember I bumped heads to a lot of people about is patriotism, but not in a sense of like America is the greatest country of the world, but I had a huge problem with people that said that had not even been out of the States. I was like, how can you say that America is the greatest country of the world if you have not seen any other country? You know, so I had huge debates about this, and they were always like teasing me about like don't you think that Italy is the best country in the world? I was like, no, like, of course I love Italy. Like, of course, like, I love where I come from. I love my origins, but I don't have enough information to claim that my country is the best country in the world. Because I don't think there is any, like, a best country in the world. I think the world is beautiful, like, in itself, and you should see the whole world. So I think that was probably my biggest, yeah.
That's a super good point. I mean, I don't think many people think about that because they very easily get into the, like, America's amazing and only wear red, white, and blue. So it's probably a good thing that you at first were like, wait guys, like, where's this coming from? But now you're Amer-Italian, you're half and half, so it's...
Yes, I'm Amer-Italian, like Danish, like my heart is like in 3 parts.
Little patchwork, a little exchange patchwork. That's amazing. So this would have been in 2014, 2015. Yes. And then it was time for you to head home. Well, sort of. I mean, so you had that in the middle where you were a camp ambassador. So any members of the class of 2016, if you remember her from camp. But tell us about what happened as you were getting ready to leave the United States and go back to Italy after being gone for a full year.
So, well, before going to camp, it was very hard to leave my family because, like, in a sense, like, going to camp made it harder because I was leaving the family, but I was still in the US. So I'm like, we're still so close, yet so far. So it was kind of like very, very weird situation. And then leaving camp, it was very hard for everybody, but I remember that it was amazing to have that support of everybody going through the same thing. And we also had, many of us had flights together, so it was nice not to be alone the whole time. But a lot of stuff was going through my head because I was so different. Like, I was so different, like, mentally, but I was also so different, like, physically. Like, I literally gained probably like 20 kilos, something like that. Or like, I had no idea what was going on. Like, I have a lot of my memories in my change year of being like kind of dreamy. Like these moments that are like so powerful that you don't realize they're happening, and then when you think back to them, you're like, whoa, like, did I do that?
Yeah. Doesn't it still feel like that though? I mean, it's been 4 or 5 years for you. Doesn't it still sort of hit you like, did this actually happen? Did I really do that?
It really does. Like, I'm like, what? Like, did I do that? Because I find sometimes myself talking to people about my experience, about what it did, because, you know, I don't have an Italian diploma, like, I graduated in the US, and so I find, like, explaining that to a lot of the students that come, or, you know, when I'm in university, and I'm like, yeah, I did that. So, like, yeah.
And I think it's a big part of that too, is not as many people care as much once you get home, right? You kind of fall into this world that you could talk for years, and you are obviously, about your exchange, but people don't care as much, and so you have to find a way to keep it alive and remind yourself, yes, this happened, this is a reality. What would you say the process was like as you created the new normal of going home, right? You're not the same Betta as before. What did your new normal look like once you got back home?
Yeah, so it was kind of very hard for me because it was much harder to come back than it was to go there.
Yeah.
Because going there, it was completely different, but because it was a difference, I got a chance to try different things for the first time, things that I found that I enjoyed. And so once you get used to that, something new that you enjoy, and it becomes part of you, and then you have to go back to what used to be like the normal. And that was much harder for me. So the thing was, like, I also think it was much harder for me because I wasn't just going back to my same high school with my same friends. Like, I was starting from scratch, so I was going back to like a new university, so I didn't know anybody. I started working, so I didn't have much time to, for example, go out with friends or reconnect with my old friends. So it probably took me about a year to readjust and reconnect with my friends too, like even my old friends. I didn't really get in touch with them again for like a year. But I think it was good for me because I feel like I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, and I think it's good that you got reconnected to them, because I think it's often that people say, no, don't worry, like, your friends will be there when you get back, which maybe they won't be, and that's also part of the process. I mean, for me, I changed my entire friend group when I came home because I changed so much, so my friends obviously changed, and for you it took you a year to sort of like get balanced and to be in the same place as them again. But now you're obviously you're using your exchange every single day, which I think is fantastic. What has happened since, the first year you're settled? You're the new and improved Betta in Rome. Then what?
Okay, so I got to Rome. Well, first of all, like because of my exchange year, I figured out what I wanted to do with my life, basically, which it's kind of cool. Because I always liked language, but I always liked also like rhetoric, like how to speak, like sounds, and I'm very into music. And so while I was in Nebraska, I got a chance to try this amazing thing that is called speech. And I loved it from like day one. It was amazing. And I got so into it. Then I started looking at different colleges and universities and how you could do that. Like if that was a chance to do that like as a major. And it turns out there is a thing called communication. So that's what I decided to go into. And yeah, I really found like what I like to study, because it makes much more sense if you have to spend long nights on books and you are doing something that makes you happy. And I really found what makes me happy. So it was very, very good to find that.
That's amazing. I mean, there are people who are much older than you are who still have no idea what they want to do or what makes them happy. So it's spectacular that you got to communication. And my favorite part of your story, if I'm allowed to have a favorite part of your life story, is sort of that exchange hasn't just changed your life in the sense of giving you a second family, a second home, a mission of what you want to achieve in your life. But what is like the story I always ask you to tell about your exchange?
The one about how I found my boyfriend.
And if you're a parent listening, don't worry. This doesn't mean your child won't come home. Proceed.
Well, so when I left in 2014, a guy from Copenhagen, he also left for his exchange year, but he went to Louisiana. And then at some point, we were at the same camp, but in that camp there were so many students that we didn't get a chance to meet. But then chances are we both got chosen to be ambassadors at camp before going home. And so in this group of 15 ambassadors, there was me, and there was also this Danish guy. And we met and we started talking, and we were really in sync, like we understood each other. And so after camp, we both flew home, but we kept on talking to each other. And he came to visit me in Rome, and we kind of got together. And so we've been dating since camp, since right after camp, 3 years ago. So.
That's fantastic. When two ambassadors, I mean, come on, you go through exchange together, you have so much in common. That's why we're all such good friends. So I think it's amazing that. And you moved there, right? You did an exchange in Copenhagen recently.
Yes. So I mean, he still lives in Copenhagen. I live in Rome, because we both started our education right when we got back, and we thought that, we're both very career oriented. We have specific goals. We really like to work hard. So the long distance, in a sense, it's it works for us, because we do plan and try and see each other as much as possible. But we also like the fact that in a day, in a week, I don't have to worry about when I can find space or time for him, and he doesn't have to worry about that. We have our Skype time at night. We always talk at night. But during the day, I'm always I go training in the morning, I go to school, then I go to work, and then I study some more, and so I'm busy, he's busy. We don't have to worry about that. So it's very nice. But then it was awesome also to go there and study there for a bit, because being that we speak in English to each other, because he speaks Danish and I speak Italian. So we speak English to each other. So it's very nice to get to know his culture, to understand better where he comes from, and the some of the ideas, how when we talk about stuff, so much of his opinion and my opinion are shaped by the culture that we live in. And so it's very nice to understand the culture, to better understand him. And so I went there for 6 months, and I studied at the University of Copenhagen, and I also took language classes, so I can understand most Danish, and I can speak quite a bit. And he's planning on coming here and staying for a bit after he graduates, so he can also experience my culture, which will be nice.
So it's like an exchange within an exchange within an exchange. You're like stuck in this world of not living in Italian, which I think is brilliant. And you know, we said you're talking to us from the EF office, so you have sort of like an EF life in and out because of your significant other is from EF, and your job and the things that you're studying is because of your exchange. But now you're an interview leader, which means you get to see students as they begin their journey, as they decide, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm ready. What has that been like? I mean, we were talking about this earlier, that you're like, oh, I'm here if you need me, but it's like so long ago. What's it been like working with people from the class of, you know, currently on program 19, 20, 21, 22?
That's literally the favorite part of my day. Like I get to work that I'm like tired, maybe I'm frustrated for like school, or you know, like there's so much going on, and then I come here and I see these people, like these students that are so excited to do this, and there's so much in front of them and they don't even know, and I get so excited for them. And I love that I still get a chance to share about what shaped me, like what helped me in my life. I love to get a chance to talk to them about that, and I love to get a chance to be there for them, because I think I really realized how this kind of experience is so important. And so I really think that this is something that everybody should do. And I love to, you know, when there's a student that is not as motivated or maybe it's a bit scared, like I love to spend more time with them. I love to talk to parents, because I think that it's such an important thing that everybody should do. So,
which is really awesome, full circle to see, since it wasn't actually your idea to begin with. It was your parents who had thought that it was a good idea to help you, and now look at you.
Thankful.
Sorry?
I'm forever thankful that, you know, my parents, specifically my stepmom, like I'm super like thankful that she like found this. So
that's amazing. And I think it's awesome too, because you use English every day, and people are always afraid, will I lose my English? Like, will it disappear? Will I lose sort of the quickness? And you obviously haven't, because you've made it a mission to use it as often as you can. And I think that it's really awesome to talk to you and hear about what the last, 2018, the last 3 years has been like. And hopefully we'll talk to you 10 years from now and you're still, maybe you're running the Rome office. That would be fantastic. Then you don't have to like walk up the stairs to that tiny room. You can.
Yeah, exactly. I can have my own office at the ground floor, no stairs, like, you know.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Betta. I think that you embody every aspect of exchange, sort of the like, yes, it's important when you're there, be open-minded, take on these adventures, but when you go home, sit in sort of that transition. It took you a year, but obviously it's paying off, because here you are now and you're still using it every single day as an interview leader. So I super hope that more people get to meet you. And if you are Italian and in Rome, please go see her at the office, because then you can see her in real life, give her a hug, start practicing hugs for the US if you decide to go to the US. But if you have any other questions for her about Nebraska or being an Italian going to an exchange, you can ask her. We'll have her information below, and make sure that you join us next time for Real Talk for more real, honest, and raw stories. Thank you so much for joining us, Betta, and we will see you all soon.